If I scroll through TikTok for too long, I start to feel physically ill, so I'm making a booktube. I used to post a lot on Book Talk, but I've just been trying to get off the app because it's just, I literally feel worse as I scroll on TikTok. And I've always wanted to start a booktube channel. I'm like an OG booktube watcher, like Christine from Poland Bananas Books, literally the OG booktube when booktube started. And I honestly, I prefer long form content, and it will mainly be a booktube because a majority of my time is taken up by reading. But I have a lot of other hobbies that I'd like to incorporate on here. I'd also like to do not just reading vlogs, but just like regular vlogs in general. I love to play video games. I love fashion and clothes. So I would just like to incorporate all of that, but it will mainly be a booktube because a majority of my time is taken up by reading. So as kind of an introduction to booktube, I'm going to show some of my favorite books. I primarily read fantasy, but I do also read other genres as well. So starting off with the almighty of the fantasy genre, the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I so quickly fell in love with Robin Hobb's writing. It is super slow paced, but there's just something about it. Like every minute detail, you feel like you're on this journey with Fitz. And Fitz starts off as a child in the first book, so you watch him grow and you just feel so connected and attached to him. I think the writing and the world building is so fantastic. I loved seeing Fitz navigate through the court politics, especially in Royal Assassin. Royal Assassin was my favorite. I've only read the Farseer trilogy. I really want to get back into Robin Hobb this year, especially since I ordered the Illumicrate Live Ship Traders trilogy, and I haven't read the Live Ship Traders. So it's a goal to read that before those books come in, which I think they ship out in October. So I got to get started. It took me like a whole month to read Assassin's Quest. But yeah, Robin Hobb is like my almighty of fantasy. Then I have the Rook and Rose trilogy by M.A. Carrick. I read these so fast and they are big and chunky. I read this after a while of having not read like a chunky fantasy series with a bunch of court politics. So it was like exactly what I needed and I ate it up. There's also a romance in the background that's super compelling. I love a hidden identity, and our main character in this has like 3 hidden identities. These were so addictive and so hard to put down. Then I have the Galesong trilogy by Shauna Lawless. This is Galesong Era 1. She is currently writing the Galesong Era 2. These, when I tell you the 3rd book of this, had me sobbing a hysterical mess. This is an Irish historical fantasy, and the way the characters are written, they're so compelling. This is dual POV, and the 2 POVs we follow are so vastly different in mindsets that when you kind of flip back and forth, one of them is literally like evil, bent on destroying the world, and then the other is just like a sweet angel baby. It's so refreshing when you switch back and forth. Daughter of the Otherworld is the first book in Galesong Era 1, which I own and I haven't read yet. I want to do a reread of these first. Specifically via audiobook so I can get the names down again. When I read this for the first time, I flipped back to the pronunciation guide probably like 100 times. But once I started like remembering how to pronounce the names, because they're Irish names, I felt so proud of myself, but I think the memory is gone. So I'm gonna have to refresh myself with the audiobook and then I can dive into Era 2. But these are like an almighty for me. And now if you're one for nostalgia, this next one, I'm a big Shadowhunter girl. A couple of months ago, I finished the Shadowhunter Chronicles, and they literally took over all of my brain space. All I can think about was Shadowhunters, the characters, the world, everything. When I was going through the Shadowhunter Chronicles, I felt like an addict with an endless supply. I just had more. I just had so many, and now I have none, and I have to wait till November for The Last King of Fairy, and I'm struggling. But you know what? I'll make it. I'll survive, I think. I just really want to see more of Kit and Ty, like, so badly. But yeah, I'm a big Shadowhunter girl. So if you love the Shadowhunters, maybe you'll like me. And lastly, we stand V.E. Schwab on this page, okay? I literally have an entire bookshelf dedicated to V.E. Schwab, but my favorite work of Schwab's is Shades of Magic. These are my babies. The characters in these are my children. I love these with all my heart. I love the world, the magic system, the characters. Everything is so well done. And I think this is the only, as of right now, because there's only 1 book in the sequel series she's written. As of right now, it's like the only like series that's been continued years and years later that was done really well that I've read personally. Like Shades of Magic was wrapped up perfectly. Everything was resolved, and V.E. Schwab left the tiniest little crack in the door to dive back into the world. And it was done phenomenally because The Fragile Threads of Power, which is the first book in The Threads of Power, which is the sequel series to this, was like a perfect transition book, because in the beginning of it, we are mainly following our old characters from Shades of Magic, and you have a sprinkling in of the new characters we'll see in throughout the series. And by the end of it, you see a majority of those new characters and sprinkles in of the old ones. In the next books, and you'll still see our old characters, but I think it was so well done as a transition book to get you used to these new characters while you still get to see your old ones. They say you could just read The Fragile Threads of Power. I don't recommend that in any way, shape, or form. I think you need to read Shades of Magic in order to read The Fragile Threads of Power. I think you miss out on so much of the world and context and just character building that you miss out on a lot if you don't read the Shades of Magic series. But yeah, those are the types of books that I love and that I love to read and that you could look forward to seeing more of on my channel. If you like those books, maybe you'll like me and you should subscribe. But yeah, I look forward to making more content on here, and I hope you guys will join me, and I'll see you in the next one.